Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises, all honor, and all glory. Kahaloyim Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, your chwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yehuda with the lesson.
Racist bully gets shot and killed for attacking a Latina woman and her fruit stand. It doesn't pay to be a racist.
Get this out of here. Illegal. Go back to Mexico. Illegal.
After he harassed her, he attacked her and tried to steal her purse. Then he destroyed her fruit stand. Do y'all understand how evil you gotta be a grown-ass man and attack a woman? Not only attack a woman, but destroy her business?
Police say they received reports of a man pushing a woman into a fruit stand while yelling racial slurs and attempting to take her purse.
You can't do it. You can't do that.
When Noonan returned, tensions spiked as he appears to collide with the owner's husband. Bystanders like Daryl Blanchard stepped in to help.
He was being very racist. I mean, on top of it, I've never ever in my life heard anybody talk like that. Racist-wise, that was totally uncalled for.
Just know, when you see a white man wearing some native attire, y'all gotta understand that man is an ally. This is a perfect example of how all white people are not racist. On one hand, you got this racist-ass piece of shit, and on the other hand, you got this solid-ass white man who stepped in to help this Latino woman and her family who was being attacked by that racist piece of shit.
Authorities say Noonan immediately engaged officers in gunfire. Officers returned the fire, critically injuring him. He later died at the hospital.
Let this racist man's death be a message to all you racist bastards out there. You want to fuck around? You're going to find out.
The video that I'm about to show you pertaining to Nolan Wells is gut-wrenching. So this is a trigger warning, but it has to be seen. In the video, they're speaking on the condition of Nolan Wells' body and how his body was transported to Washington, D.C. And let me just say this. The only words that I can use to describe what you're about to hear is pure evil. Look at this.
All right, so we want to talk about Nolan Wells today.
Hit him out.
So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, human remains, and things like that. So today I got a call from that person, and they were just talking about the body that they came across. So Nolan Wells. So before knowing all that, he said that the body was mistreated. It looked abused. It looked like he was tortured. Looked as if he was burnt, maybe. Where? Face, body. Said he was burnt.
And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So as they were transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting a body, when, only a couple of people work that job, they all know you don't transport the body face down. It's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them fixed up. Well, specifically his body whatever reason was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect.
Yeah.
Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Did you hear what she just said? The body looked like it was tortured, like it was burnt. All parties involved with this need to be locked up. And that's anybody responsible for this, anybody that has been covering this up, everybody responsible needs to be held accountable. We in a wicked world, man. I'm out.
Since the death of Nolan Wells, I've seen an alarming number of comments and videos from white people laughing about what happened to him and joking about this is what white people do. But the most concerning one that I've seen so far is this.
Yeah, we did it. We sure did do it. What you think? What you think we do when we take y'all young men camping with us? I know them boys don't know how to swim. Yeah. We throw them in that water. We say, swim, boy, swim. Woo! Learn how to swim, boy. You can't do it. You can't do it, boy. Y'all ain't ever gonna learn how to swim. Yeah, they did it. The boys did it. This is a damn tradition for us. Yeah, this is a tradition. We take you boys out in the woods. We throw you in the swamp. We throw you in the creek. We throw you in the springs and rivers. Yeah, we throw you in the oceans. Y'all can't do a damn thing. Y'all be in there splashing and screaming, I can't swim. I can't swim. Oh, hell no.
This is disturbing. This reflects a level of dehumanization in that man that should concern all of us, because this guy is not safe. This dude is the definition of a Nazi white supremacist, okay? I need everybody to do what they do and help find who the hell this guy is.
Yeah, this is CNN US. It says ICE halts most traffic stops. It's not saying they're going to stop it. It's just saying most. So I don't know if that means they're going to dial it down, or they're just saying it, because really that's what the president's secretary or whatever she is, the little blonde chick that always comes and talk. I can't remember, I don't know her name, but she said that no, they're going to continue traffic stops, and they already have body cams. So it's not to this thing is saying they're expanding, right? They halt most traffic stops, moves to expand body cams after fatal shootings, right? But she said they already have body cams, right? Not as if they're going to expand any, or they're going to make sure that there's more, you know. But it says the moves follow deadly encounters involving ICE agents in Maine and Houston. This is an update. Says 5:28 p.m. EDT, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. So it's very recent. I think that's today or yesterday. Might have been yesterday. All right, but it's recent, right? It's recent, update. Says immigrants and custom enforcement agents have been directed to halt most traffic stops after ICE officers fatally shot a man in Biddeford, Maine yesterday, making a striking reversal in tactics days after the federal agent fatally shot a Mexican immigrant during a traffic stop in Houston. Right, so this is the second one. So hey, they're killing Israelites left and right. Right. Whether they're agencies, law agencies, or just regular Edomite citizens, right? Even the youth. Yeah, I think those kids that that did that in was it Mississippi? So, was it Nolan? Can't remember the kid's name. Let me look it up real quick. But kid's name is Nolan Xavier Wells, right? So between you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indians, what's his name? How you say it? Tom Human border Zakar border Tom Humain characterized the halting of most ICE traffic stops as a short pause rather than a long. Yeah, see, yeah, that's what it is. It's not. They're not gonna stop doing it. Was it policy change? Yeah, they're not changing anything because this is their thing to come against you Israelites, right? So the traffic stop in Houston, ICE is also planning to equip each arrest team with an agent, That don't mean they're all gonna have it. One agent's gonna have it, but anything can happen because while he's over here, things are happening over there. An agent wearing a not a body cam and a spokesperson said, right, and that's all you just a spokesperson. You just this is somebody just speaking for them, and they're on they're on what they on, right? I just read up just because I wasn't sure if I finished that, but I'm gonna jump back down, kick back off where I was at. It says the halting of most ICE truck stops. Yeah, policy change. Yeah, okay. Not a long policy change by the Trump administration. Holman also downplayed the significance of traffic stops. Right? Argue the move would not have. Right? They're downplaying everything about you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native. It's not a big deal. Someone lost their life, and you could never get that man's life back. Yeah, they're downplaying you. Right? Argue the move would not have a great impact in the number of ICE agents, right? It's not going to change a damn thing. They plan on, it has the largest budget. Killed in Maine was 11. Killed in Maine was 25 years old. Killed in Maine was 25 years old. Father Jonah Sabustan Delarun. I don't know. It's like, yeah. See if I can.
Joan Sebastian.
Jones Sebastian. And
Duran Guerrero from Colombia.
Yeah, Duran Guerrero. I don't know how you say Duran Guerrero from Colombia, right? A neighbor said he was authorized to work in the U.S. and was issued a social security number. The main immigration rights I got cracks in my phone. just so I can see through these cracks. Coalition said he wasn't the target of the immigration operation. Senior and Angus King said, I don't know how you did I say that right? Angus King or August? Oh, Augustus.
Angus King.
August. Yeah, August. August King. It's like it said. Right, but it doesn't matter. You're an Israelite, right? You're collateral damage, right? Yeah. So this is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 3, and say unto it, thus saith the outer one, power, most high Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakal Kodash. Behold, O Mount Seir, right? In which that's Mount Seir is a chief place where Edom used to live. It's Mount Seir. That's like a way of like synonymously saying Edom, right? Esau, Edom, right? It's where the Edomites dwelled. But no matter where you're at, you are considered Mount Seir, right? Whether you're in Russia, you're in Australia, you wherever you at, England, London, Canada, wherever you at, you're technically Mount Seir. But that main chief place of Mount Seir, right, or Basra, which is America, right? I am against thee, right? And the Lord is against this place, America, the daughter of Babylon. Ultimately, it's against all Edomites, but this place has a special place in the Lord's heart as far as his anger, his indignation, right? Which is righteous anger. And I will stretch out my hand against thee. See, not for thee, but it's coming to come against thee, right? And I will make thee what? Most desolate, right? And this is how the Most High is feeling through his only begotten Son, right? Which is precipitated through David, the 12, the 144,000, and the rest of the Israelites, the elect, right? You know, that innumerable multitude, which is ultimately is a small number compared to the 8 billion people that's upon the planet, but those people are going to be supernatural. They're going to be angelic beings upon earth, putting forth what? Judgment, right? And in the fashion of the Most High, giving you the end from the beginning. And I will lay thy cities waste. See, that's the end of America. Your cities are going to be laid waste, right? And how we know that is because the Lord said what? In the 5 cities we will speak the pure language, right? Calling on what? Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. And those cities are those cities that's going to be destroyed, right? Right? It's befitting that you're also known as Sodom, right? Because the 5 cities of Sodom got destroyed, right? And it said in the 5 cities we would speak the pure language. And then that's why the Lord said, what? And I will lay thy cities waste, and thus shall be a desolate, and thou shall know that I am Yahweh, right? You're going to know that Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakal Kadash, is with the Israelites, right? The true so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, which are actually Israelites. Those are bywords, and those are words that you hit us by. Those are not our true nationality. Our true nationality is the Israelites. So we're putting off that old man, and we're no longer calling ourselves Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. We only say that just for because those are things you call us. That's why we say so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. So-called, right? That's because the what's it called? The gross darkness of this place, right? Because the God of this world has manipulated the minds of the fools, of the simple. But the Lord has raised up a number, right? A specific number of men who's not going to bow the knee. And then, there's a few women as well, right? Which women are just set for, to guide the house, so to speak. I'm going to help forward the nation, right? Because the man carries the seed. The woman has to, we have to have the woman to incubate, so it says, because thou has had a perpetual hatred, right? So the Lord gave you the end from the beginning. He's telling you, I'm going to destroy your thing. But now he's telling you why he's destroying this place called Babylon the Great, daughter of Babylon. This place that's known as Mount Seir, right? This place is known as Basra, right? This is why. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and have shed the blood of the children of Israel, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you are the children of Israel. By the force of the sword, see, and that's what they call it. Enforcement, law enforcement, right? By the force of the sword, right? And the modern day sword is the gun or anything that could pick itself up. It's the sword, regardless. It's a killer instrument, right? Nolan Xavier Wells got killed by some type of pipe or some type of bar or stick or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Allegedly, right? But nevertheless, he's like his dad, Kwayan, which is what a dagger, killing instrument, right? It's a weapon, killing instrument, going all the way back to that spirit, that same spirit that was in Cain is in these Edomites, right? These Hebrew Edomites. And it says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time when their iniquity had an end. See, our iniquity is at the end. We know who we are. We know who we are. This is the time that we actually know who we are. Like I would say, and that was back during the time of slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation, but that wasn't actually them releasing us from slavery. That was us taking us from the plantation to being a corporate slave, to be slave of the state and the system, and then ultimately the banks, right? But that can't be that period, right? Then you have the time of the 60s. Jake was starting to wake up a little bit, but that couldn't have been it. When the time when we in our, because right now we're the downtrodden. We're still the people who they could throw up, you could put in your face. Oh, what about Chicago? What about Chicago? What about how black people kill each other? See, and they like to throw in the the thing twist it, reverse. Then they'll throw on reverse racism, right? Oh shit! Yeah, I just seen a video. Dang, I can't remember the name. It's a light-skinned Jake. He was saying that he was trying to help the black people in Chicago create their own town, create their own wealth. And they came to him saying he can't do that because that's like, basically they were saying that's reverse racism. Basically they said that's racist if you do that. But he said there's a Chinatown, there's these Spanish town from Spain, you got the town Italy, you got the Jewish towns, you got all these different. But if you do it, so there's autonomous black wealth, so we can get a handle on ourselves. That's racism. That's like that's what he's saying. That's reverse racism. But that's how they want to keep you, right? So you're always begging, right? So you always need master. You're always at the bottom. So your calamity. In the time of your calamity, AIDS epidemic, crack epidemic, right? These are nothing but calamities, bro. But now the truth came out. What was it? 2007, not 2027, 2007, Salakia, 2007, when the apostles got on the scene, on YouTube, and they pushed forth the truth on YouTube. That's the time your iniquity had to end. Then they got pushed forth to push, and then it's growing and it's growing, and then they raise up their own little Jesuits, Vocab Malone and all these other people try to come against us. But then this thing's still growing in popularity. But then there's still a lot of jakes that they're not getting it. Well, we know why they're not, because the Lord blinded the minds. There's a lot of people he don't want them to get it, but still can't say it's not there, right? And so our iniquity has an end. The truth is out there. They could just come out, blanket statement, tell the truth, leave it out there, which, in a roundabout way, Putin did it, right? He opened up the archives, all those old things, and showed, and then Jake is still in the dark. You know what I mean? In a roundabout way, Esau keep telling the truth. He came out and said that the aliens were black men. And Jake is still sitting in a stupor, right? But the Lord raised up an elect. It says, "Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth," right? So whether you coming or you going, right? Whether you're about to expire out of life, or you're coming into life in your reincarnation, hey, the Lord is about to, Obadiah 1:18, all the Edomites, right? But first you're going to do your 1,000 years of slavery, of chattel slavery, right? And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, right? And that means your government, right? Your government is going to be filled with, which there is no government. If there's no people, there's no government. And fill your mountain with the slain men, and in the hills, right? Your smaller governments, right? Smaller countries, your smaller like little towns and cities, your mayors, your what do they call them? Governors, and little smaller, governmental things like that, and little countries that you have. Hey, coming to get you all of you, right? And it says, matter of fact, we're gonna have to get that then. It says all the rivers, so in the hills and in the valleys and in all the rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. See, now you're going to get the sword. See? Yeah, so this is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 17. But upon Mount Zion, right, the mount, basically that government that's going to rule the entire earth in an Orkamene sense, right? Right? And every nation, right? But it's going to be in righteousness, shall be delivered, right? But first we need to be we need to be delivered. First and foremost, we need to be delivered out of this place, right? You know, out of the clutches, out of the hands of you devils, of you people that hate us with this perpetual hatred, right? Right? You hate us so much that you'll destroy the planet because you hate us so much. You destroy the water, the trees, you destroy every ability, every what you say, every benefit to life because you hate us, right? Because life is supposed to give you benefits, right? There's supposed to be benefits to you living, right? You know, but every benefit you destroy because you're like, I just don't want them to have it, right? Which there was an Edomite lady who basically came out and said that, put it on the thing. You don't want us to have anything. It says, but upon Mount Zion, right, shall be deliverance. So we have to get out of the clutches of you devils who hate us with this perpetual hatred. And there shall be holiness, right? See, righteousness, separation. Holy means to be cleansed, separated, right? And the house of Jacob, or Yaquab, shall possess their possession. See, you're in possession of the world, right? Right? Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We're going to take that possession that you have. You have the entire world. The world is about to be ours, right? You know? Matter of fact, let's get that. Yeah. So this is Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, which is the angel, from Abraham unto Isaac, right? Which, if you understand who Isaac is, you understand that Isaac, there's a thing called regeneration or reincarnation, and Isaac is Yahweh, right? Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. That same spirit that was in Isaac came back as Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls JC, right? And that spirit, and that's how you know that when it speaks, that it said that he come back with the government upon his shoulders, and he's the everlasting Father, right? He is our Father. Also, it's not just the Most High Father. He's our Father because he was Isaac, right? He's our Father because he's Melchizedek. That makes him, he's the high priest. It makes us our spiritual father, in a sense, right? He's the bishop of our soul, right? But I'm going somewhere, but still, when Jacob and Esau, right, were born, right? That's why it says in the seed as in one. Well, that seed as in one, and it says that seed that is one is Isaac. Well, that spirit that was in Isaac is Yahweh, who came to die for his people for their sins, right? It says when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held fast the heel of Esau. See, your world is going to be a changing of worlds. So it's okay that you have this perpetual hatred. See, the Lord already said how you're going to lose it, telling you to end from the beginning. And then he told you why you're going to lose it. It's because you had this perpetual hatred towards us. That's why you're going to lose. That's why you're going to lose it. But it's more than just that. There's a lot of things you've done. But as a clean cut answer is, hey, you put your hands on the children of Israel, and then you did it perpetually, right? And it says that for Esau is the end, Esau is the end of the world, right? And the world is in your hands, right? The world is in your hands. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So it's going to change from your hand into the hands of Jacob. So much so that it says, and the hand of a man is betwixt the heel and the hand. So that hand, that's Jacob grabbing you by your, what do they call it? Basically by your heels and snatching you. You ever see that thing when they do that in football? They grab them. They'll grab both legs and just drill them down to the ground. That's pretty much what we're doing to Esau. Like you know what I mean? Not just with tackling you. We're gonna take your legs off from underneath you and tackle you. So you have no more motion. The only motion you'll have is down. Right? Come sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So you just sit on the ground. That's it. It says, and the hand of a man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other questions Esther asks thou not. Right? So now that hand is that world is in the hand of Jacob. Yeah, so this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, chapter 10, verse 6. It says, bear not hatred. See, you have hatred towards your brother, right? A perpetual hatred. But the Lord said, bear not hatred towards thy neighbor for every wrong, right? Which we didn't do any wrong to you, right? Not to justify the things that go on the way you do it, you know, the way you've done it. I mean, have we had the Edomites in slavery? Have we did things? Yeah, but how did we treat you? Right? Was it John Hyrcanus? He actually he made you converts, right? That's teaching you righteousness. Ain't that good? Wasn't that a good thing? You know? Hey, but we get what's it called? What does it say that they give you wickedness for good? You know what I mean? You know? Roughly paraphrasing, right? It says and do nothing at all by injurious practices. See, and that's what you do. You practice deceit by writing grievous laws, and you practice it because it's in your hand, it's in your power, as the scriptures say. You do injurious practices. It says pride is hateful before God and man. See, and that's what you have. You have a lot of pride, and you have a lot of hatred within your pride. And pride is hateful before God and man. By both doeth one commit iniquity, and that's you. A constant iniquity. Right? Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. And it's going to, and now your world is going to be our world, but we're going to clean it up. It's going to be in righteousness. Right? It's going to be a what's it called? Trading places. Right? It says, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit. See? So you got your riches by unrighteous practices, or injurious. It says do nothing by injurious practices, and that's exactly what you did. It says because of unrighteous dealing and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Since you did all this deceit, obviously the kingdom has to translate from you to us, right? From your hand to our hand, right? And that's why betwixt the heel and the hand of a man is that's how close as it's going to be, because if my hand is on your heel while I'm power driving you to the ground, I'm still connected to you. I'm up, but you're down. And the kingdom is translated. And it's not going to have a pause in between. It's going to go right into the Israelites, right into Jacob, right? Jacob is synonymous with Israel, which his 12 sons became the Israelites, the descendants, or the Israelites, right? So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian of today. And ultimately, those have came back to the faith, you know? Yeah, so this is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. Before I forget, I started getting into the groove. It says, and the house of Jacob or Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, right, which is all 12 tribes, right? Right? Tribe of Judah, right? Or the Judeans, and then you got the northern kingdom, all come together as all 12 tribes, right? Jacob shall be a fire, and Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau, and the house of Esau for stubble, right? Because what happens when you burn something and the fire breaks all the way down, turns it to stubble, to nothing. That's why I said those that, and you're going out and coming in through your if you're leaving this life, going back into the spirit world, or you're coming back from the spirit world back into this life, you're gonna be at the bottom. You're gonna be in chains. You're gonna be born into slavery, right? Through your elite. Your elite gonna be the first fruits of slavery. See, but at the end of your 1,000 years of slavery, right? Esau for stubble, and they shall be kindled in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. So all you Edomites are never going to remain again after your 1,000 years of slavery. For Yahweh have spoken it. So Yahweh Basham Yahushai have spoken it. That's it. Yeah, so this is Psalms 73 and verse 6. It says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence cover them as a garment. See, and that's what they is. That's what he's saying. This is our nature. That's what that guy's saying. It's their nature to hate you, right? It's their nature to be violent. They're violent against themselves, let alone against you, who they hate, right? They have a perpetual hatred towards you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, which ultimately is because you're the Israelites, right? They're burning up in the sun, trying to tan themselves, and Father Nature hates them, right? Because it's not a mother, it's a father, right? Right? From the very beginning, he said he and his seed and everything was good. He and his seed, right? The seed carry forth, the generations, right? Whether if it be plants, trees, whatever, it's the seed. The seed coming from what? The male plants, right? Without the seed, the sperma, right? It's nothing. See, and Esau's at the time where he's not progenerating, right? And then he hates you so much that he didn't realize he was doing it to himself, trying to stop Jake from procreating. Even his own people are catching different, the big C, and unable to procreate. And if they do, it's coming out with all sorts of Down syndrome or or some type of whatever, right? You know? And then here it is, Jake still having, and they're coming out healthy. They're coming out. That's why they're doing the organs harvesting and all the other stuff is really to come against you, Jake, to come against you Israelites, man. Your organs and everything is a lot better. Your skin, your skin is an organ in itself. That's man. There's a lot of reason why this dude hates you. That's why his violence compasses them as a chain, as a garment. They can't help it. It's like you know, what's his name? What's his name? The dude who used to be a rapper, and cannabis. He said you're dripping with whack juice and you can't get it off. That's like them. It's like a garment. They can't. You know, even if they pretend that it's like I said. It's like that. I was trying to think of that you know, that movie. What's Hellboy? The horns. They can't help but the horns to come out. They keep trying to saw it down. How you doing, sir? Good morning. But they hate you. And now they're about to show their horns. I mean, the apostle said it. It's about to be an ethnic cleansing of you Israelites, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native, because you're not catching the clue. You think you could still be friends with them, right? For it says their eyes stand out with fatness, right? Because they can only see what the hell they want out of life. They're not giving a damn about how you feel and what you think. They have more than hearts can wish, right? They got everything, especially when you deal with these elite. You know, private jets. They can do this. They can do everything. They can pay their bills, especially these elites. But even these small Edomites, man, hey, they even tell you, what's going on there? How you doing today? Living the dream. Yeah, everything is good for them. You know, meanwhile you're oppressed, right? Esau and which is Esau, raise up thy sons, O Jacob, against thy sons, O Greece, right? It tells you that what? It says that Judah and Ephraim are pressed together, right? We're gonna, things are gonna be changed. Things are gonna be shaken. It's gonna get shaken up out here, right? War is gonna have to happen. Things are gonna happen. See, it says they are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. That's what he's. I said, get him, boy. Go over there, swim. We know you can't. Hey, they're showing their hatred. That's why even in the articles, no, we're not gonna put away the stopping, and nor are we really even dialing it back. We're not gonna stop. Basically, they're saying we're not stopping at all. But in the big head of the thing of the headliner is saying they're gonna cut back and they're gonna do more body cams. But if you read in the thing, they're not gonna stop, and they don't give a damn about them body cams, right? They are going to oppress you Israelites, right? Judah and Ephraim are oppressed together. That's what's ultimately happening. It says, and they set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongues walk through the earth, right? See, through that video, that could be seen worldwide, which I'm pretty sure it has at this point. Worldwide, somewhere, somebody have seen that video. Maybe not every person in the world, but a fair share of people have seen that video with him doing that. So his tongue is walking through the earth, right? He said, hey, this is who we are. All right? Yeah, so this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 20, verse 5. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, right? And another by much babbling becometh hateful. And see, yeah, that's Esau, man. This is by much confusion, and they don't really know what's going on, especially these lower level Edomites. They don't know what's going on. You know, the ones that are wise amongst them are the elite. They're silent. They have the secret societies. They know what's going on as far as, you know, they have the riches, you know, and they misguide people, right? Which this is really going into to the righteous, really. You know, the righteous man is silent, you know, and let the babblers babble, but just using it as a understanding too, as far as like these elite, they're silent, right? Or they have their secret society, and they know what's going on, but they rev up the people so they can have these race wars, these contentions, so that way, what do you call it? Order out of chaos, right? You know, some man holdeth his tongue because he haveth not an answer, which that's smart too, you know. I mean, if you don't know, why say anything if you don't know anything, right? If you don't know the answer, there's no reason to talk. It says, and to some keepeth silent, knowing his time. See, and that's a lot of things that we do as the hopeful elect. You know, there's a lot that we keep silent about because we know it's our time. It's the time that Esau is about to fail. His end is coming. You know, is right around the corner. So we're not here to be violent. We're not here to do anything against Esau, right? But only prophesy the end. You know, we're here to tell the truth, and that's it. We're going to keep silent because we know the time. We're not going to go out there and try to get up arms and try to fight or do anything. Hey, we know what time it is, right? We know it's time for that Yahweh Shai is on his way. You know, this place is going down. It's going to implode on itself. It's going to do the damage on its own self, right? The AI is going to lose control. They're not going to have control over AI. They're not going to have control over their own missile system pretty soon. You know, they think they have it, but they don't. The Lord said they should be in straits. They're going to be in trouble. To be in straits means a place of difficulty to this, right? Difficultness. So you just a big bad elite and you have everything all control, but the Lord said you're going to be in straits. So basically you're going to be walking around like a chicken with your head cut off, man. The only thing you're going to know to do is to get violence, and after that you're going to realize you can't. And all the elite going into their bunkers, which that's what they were doing already. For you low-level Edomites who think you know something, right? But that babbling just becomes hatred. Talking nothing but confusion, right? You know? Matter of fact, yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. It says, the city of confusion, see, and that's America, Babylon the Great. They don't know what's going on. They just running their mouth, you know, stirring up race wars, stirring up things to go into this race war. But really, what's going to happen is you're going to implode upon yourself. You're going to bring order out of chaos, which that's ultimately where the Most High wants you to go. That way they have to bring in the micro C-hip. Ultimately, they're going to try to put their hands on the elect, which is going to bring in Yahweh Shai. It's going to bring in the Savior. The Lord is going to lift up a standard. So we need you to do those things. That's why if you look at anything, no man of the Lord is walking around trembling and afraid, like about things that's going on, right? Now, is it going to be a scary time? Are we going to get scared too? Yeah, of course. But we know the overall end of this, man. The end of this thing is, hey, you're going to get checkmated, man. You're already checkmated. This thing is, we just got to go through the emotion because it's already written. You lost, right? So do your worst, because guess what? That's why you're not going to get any mercy, right? That's why the Lord said He's not going to give any mercy for those who have not shown any mercy. You're not showing any mercy, right? And then you're just talking a bunch of confusion, right? Babble, right? And your babbling makes nothing but hatred, right? Confusion. That's what babbling means. Babel or Babylon. Babel, what is confusion? The city of confusion breaketh down. And that's this place is going to break down. The Lord's going to raise up the Egyptian against the Egyptian, man. It says every house is shut up that no man may come in, right? The Lord, what you're gonna do is gonna cause this thing to go into order out of chaos, which they're gonna do martial law. You're gonna be locked into this place, right? And there's gonna be no way for you to go out of America, and no way for anyone to come in. Now you're gonna become your own prisoner, all because you thought this is a bright idea. Let's do this race war thing. Let's have this hatred pour out. But that's okay. We need that to happen, right? Because how else could the Lord rouse up Judah? Who you know what I'm saying? Because who's gonna do it? The Lord's gonna rouse up Judah, man. He's gonna allow you to do your shenanigans, and then Judah should be a terror in Egypt, man. So come on. It says there is a cry for wine in the street. See, a lot of you don't know what's going on. You're in the city of confusion. You're babbling. You're babbling about this hatred. You know, I hate this person. I hate this person. We don't like that. We don't like this. We're white supremacists. We're black supremacists. We're Mexican supremacists. All this other madness. Hey, look, the Egyptian is going to go against the Egyptian, and you're going to have nothing but confusion because you're going to have the wine. You're not going to have the comforter. You're not going to have the scriptures. You're not going to have the what is it called? Because they basically call anything, because it's basically a doctrine, but they call it a dogma, right? You're not going to have the know-how and the understanding of what's going on, right? Which is basically the wine, the understanding of the scriptures. It says in the streets, crying for wine in the streets. They're going to be looking for the truth, right? All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. See, and that's really what's coming to America, man. The mirth of America is gonna be gone, which you already can see that now, right? Your 4th of July was crap. Your what other holiday went by? Christmas was BS. It was not good at all. Even your Halloween, that's like the devil's birthday or something, whatever it is. Which is what is it supposed to be? Either the devil's birthday or a witch's birthday, or something like that. Hitler's birthday, whatever it is, whatever they be doing, to celebrate the witch's eve or whatever it is. It was crap. It was nothing like how things. Everybody feel it too. They like, man, the holiday they ain't hitting the same, right? This place is, the mirth is gone. The mirth of the land is gone, man. This place is gone, man. It is finished. 250 years. This place is done, man. In the city is left desolation. See, and that's all that's going to be left here. The Egyptian against the Egyptian is going to be nothing but desolation, right? You're going to have nothing to go back to. You see, they're building the data centers, messing up the water, but you got time to say the N-word on TikTok. You got time to say, yeah, I'll tell you, boy, go swing, boy, you can't do it. You got time for that? Meanwhile, they're building data centers. Meanwhile, they're putting their 15-minute cities. Meanwhile, they're about to push the Karagma, the Karax, the Grapho. You won't be able to buy and sell without the micro C-hip. See? And all that's going to be because of what? Control out of chaos. Okay, yeah, come back here. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 20, verse, I think I left off at 7. Yeah, let me start back up right here at 7. It says, a wise man will hold his tongue until he sees opportunity, right? And when you have the opportunity, it's opportunity to depart wisdom or some understanding or some type of thing, something that's going to lift up the people, right? Even you being an Edomite, the Lord said, especially why it is, the Lord said, be peaceable with all men if it is possible. So why there's like this peace going on, I don't gotta like you like that, but hey, I see you crossing the street. Let me stop my car, let you drive by. If we're at the store and you coming out, I open up the door, you come out. Hey, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? I live peaceable with every man. I see you. You say good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning. How you doing? Good afternoon. I have no problem with that. I just know that you're the devil, and we can never coincide like that. But I could be peaceable. You know what I mean? That just makes sense. And I don't really have nothing to say really about you or negative about you besides, hey, you're the devil. We'll never really get along ultimately, you know. But if you had enough sense, you just live peaceable. If you had enough sense, you just say, hey, these people are the Israelites. Let's do this. But they're gonna do that. So it is what it is, man. But babblers and a fool will regard no time, right? You're not even looking at that your kingdom's fallen, right? Matter of fact, it says that about that. What it says how she said I shall sit as a lady forever, and should not be a widow, nor have loss for children. And the Lord say, hey, you will have the loss. You will be a widow, and you will have loss of children because you didn't recognize that latter end. See, and that's where you Edomites are at. You're not recognizing the latter end. You're not looking at every kingdom, every empire has crumbled, and everybody, even your top financial advisors are saying that the economy is going to collapse. They're telling you how there's going to be no water in the western part of the United States. Nevada, Colorado, Arizona, California, New Mexico, no water. Right? But your thing is, that's right. We're gonna join the enforcement of ICE, and we're gonna kill us some Mexicans. We're gonna kill us some niggas. This is what you're concerned about. See? But this is why babbling turns into hatred. Because a bunch of confusion turns into hate. You just get, you know what I mean? You just get angry. You know? You're just confused. Right? The Lord's going to raise up the Egyptian against the Egyptian. There's going to be race wars, famines, death, pestilence. Everything is going to be going on, right? Lack of water, lack of bread, lack of everything. Hey, I just read lack of the wine, the understanding of the scriptures. You ain't gonna have a prophet out there speaking to you and trying to break down the scriptures to you so you can have an understanding. Nobody got time for that because hey, we got to be on the move, right? We're trying to survive. We're trying to be obedient to Yahweh Shai, and he that useth many words shall be abhorred. Right, and Esau does that, man. He gets on the news, he talk about all the things, but what ends up happening is his own tongue fall upon him. Right, his own tongue is a witness against himself, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. Hatred, there shall be hatred. And that's Esau, man. Yeah, the Lord gave you the you are the steward of the earth, right? The Lord said you would get the stewardship by the sword, but then when you do it, you just become the hammer of the earth, right? The big bully on the block, and people are tired of that. Now the world hates you, right? Even your allies hate you, right? Was it right? That's in Revelations. They're gonna hate. These shall hate the whore. Revelations 17. These shall hate the whore. They're gonna hate you, right? It says, and there is a sinner that have good success in evil things, and that's what you had. You have great success in evil things. So you told these other countries to join you. Let's cut off the Israelites so they not be a nation anymore. Let's do these different things, and we'll make. You had good success for a while, but guess what? You're coming to your end. You're 250 years. You're coming to an end. Had good success in evil things, and there is a gain that turneth to loss. And see, now you're coming to the time that all your gain and everything you ever gain is going to be lost. 250 years, a bob a ball to Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, right? So I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the 4 ones preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, your chwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah. We got next.